Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about contracts, why you need them, how to painlessly get them signed, and what they should cover. Lots of times I'm surprised to see people talk about this subject because within our industry, it's way too common for people to recommend against a contract. That's a really bad idea. In fact, having a service contract is so fundamental to a business, especially in photography, that if someone recommends that you not have one, that is a big red flag. It's a huge tell that you should not take anything that person has to say seriously. Also, we're gonna get into a lot hotter, more controversial topics than this in the course. So if you disagree already, we're in for a bit of a long, hard road ahead. But the good news is you're gonna get your money's worth. So talking about contracts, there are lots of reasons why people say you don't need them. Like, you'll never need one. This comes from somebody who thinks nothing bad ever happens or likes to pretend that it doesn't. Sadly, back here in the real world, once you spend enough time in business or in life in general, the law of averages will start to apply to you. No matter how easy you are to get along with or how careful you are that things don't go wrong, eventually you're going to have an issue that is absolutely unavoidable where a service contract will save the day. And if you don't have a service contract, your finances, your livelihood, or your reputation, which is a very important thing in business, could be gone forever. So take this seriously. People also say that contracts are a good way to lose clients, because they don't want to sign them and they're just going to use another photographer who doesn't do it. Usually people don't want to sign contracts because they're inconvenient. There are very painless ways of getting people to sign a contract, like having them agree to terms and conditions when they book you online. Personally, I have it all built in seamlessly to my online system where the client just has to check a box. It's no issue at all, and we will show you exactly how we do it in another tutorial. In fact, I would actually say that having a service contract helps me keep clients longer because, contrary to popular belief, real professionals appreciate this sort of thing and it gets potentially sensitive topics out of the way before it ever happens. And it makes you look a lot more credible as a professional. If something does get out of hand and you try to explain policies after someone has lost their temper or their ego has gotten out of control, I wish you the best of luck when you try to handle the situation. But this can all be avoided if you just introduce the contract when you should have. By the way, I have found that people who say that having a contract has lost them clients did it exactly this way. They did it backwards. It's not the contract that's the problem, they're just doing a really bad job running their business. Another excuse people use to not have a contract is that federal copyright laws apply automatically when you take the image anyway. So you don't need to make a contract on top of the federal law. Federal copyright law does come into effect the second you press the shutter button. However, your client might not know that, and your terms and conditions are an opportunity to educate them on this and everything else you need to cover. Once again, you can avoid awkwardness or conflict before it ever happens. Also, while the federal laws cover copyright issues, they don't cover anything else that you should be covering in your contract, like usage permissions, payment requirements, or all the other things that you really need to cover. Yet another excuse I hear is that it's not worth your time and energy, and it's better to just take the high road and move on to bigger and better things if something happens. Believe me, having a contract saves you so much time and energy. Also, be careful of getting into the habit of rolling over and avoiding awkwardness in business. Usually I find that people who use this excuse aren't actually concerned with their time and resources, they're just deathly afraid of conflict and will avoid it at all costs. Having a happy-go-lucky attitude works great when you're trying to make friends and be liked by strangers, but in the business world you need to learn to address issues and diffuse sensitive situations if you need to. If you already are having trouble getting the guts to address a simple issue like contracts now, you're going to be taken advantage of endlessly in the years ahead and have all sorts of issues that could have otherwise easily been avoided. Ignoring the problem doesn't make it disappear, it will only get worse and bigger until you are forced to address it. And by then, it might be too little too late. Make a contract now and get yourself mentally prepared to politely and professionally introduce it and answer questions on it if they have it. 99% of the time, a service contract is a great way to avoid bad customers and lawsuits. But in the rare occasion you do find yourself in a court of law, having terms and conditions, contracts, insurance, and simple basic things that all businesses are expected to have will be an enormous help to your case. and your lawyer will thank you. Do you really want to get sued and be found in the court of law without a contract in place? Do you have any idea what that looks like to a judge and a jury? You're leaving yourself wide open and vulnerable to litigation in one of the most litigious societies in the world. Also, if you want to pursue damages because someone tried to steal your intellectual property, having a contract that defines the value of your work will get you 10 times more money and increase your chances of winning enormously. This goes far and above what federal copyright law will ever get you. So having a contract in place definitely pays for itself and makes it worth your time if you do have to spend time in court. My service contracts values my images at $500 each, and lawyers generally go for 3 times their value. Alright, so enough about why you should have one. As I mentioned before, the best way to regularly get all of your clients to agree to your contract is integrating it seamlessly into your online scheduling system. We will cover exactly how we do it in another tutorial that covers our online scheduling system, but for now, just know that that's the way we do it. As far as what you should have in your contract, make sure to check out the contract I have provided for free as a download in the download section. It is a real template that I paid a lawyer for, but make sure you run it by your own lawyer so he can check that it applies to your local laws and your business. I'm not providing an official legal document, and I'm not liable if you use it without doing your own due diligence. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please don't forget to search in the Facebook group, and always remember to learn, apply, and succeed.